What's going on, good people? Rich here, joined by the good brother Spike Lou. Spike, what's going on, brother?
What's good, people? What's good?
And man, we back again with another episode of another week in the books, book two. I promise y'all, we're gonna have some production here real soon, y'all. We're gonna have some kind of intro. I don't know if we're gonna keep Mo's original. Mo's imprint is still on another week in the books. I don't know if we're gonna come up with something newer. Maybe Mo can get in the booth and drop a new 16 and a few 8 bars, maybe for a new intro or something. I don't know. We're gonna figure something out. But I promise you, the production side, as far as the intro, is gonna be fixed here real soon. I know Spike and myself have talked. We decided, if you've listened to the first couple episodes, we're not going to have the music in the background, just more of the raw conversation piece. But that was one of my favorite parts of book one. But we're not here.
Several people have told me that. Yeah, several people told me that, man.
Yeah, because nobody else does it, and it's its own unique thing, and I rocked with it. It's one of my favorite things that drew me in when I first started listening to it. But we'll see how it goes. Obviously, we're not against what the people want. If that's a fan favorite and people were drawn to it, we'll figure out a way to put that back on there.
Mo, teach me you how to do it. We'll figure it out from there.
I already talked to him, man. I'm going to producer school. I already got it mapped out. Yeah, I'm going to producer school, man. But we're not here by ourselves. We are here with we teased this in chapter 1 that we were going to have a guest on, not just any guest, a family member of mine, a real actual blood. He has been on another week in the books, chapter 1, or excuse me, book 1. And this is the second one. We'll talk about that first appearance and things that I've talked to you about school and all of that. But my brother School, Isaiah School, whatever you want to be known as, man. It's good to have you. What's up, man? How you feeling?
What's happening?
Good to have you back, brother.
Hey, I appreciate y'all for having me. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm Isaiah today, man. This Isaiah, man. This ain't School. This Isaiah, man.
I like it. I ain't mad at it, man. We're gonna get to the reason you here, other than joining us for good conversation. But Spike, I did want to follow up with you from last week's episode when we discussed it in chapter 1. You and I discussed holding each other accountable and starting a 21-day challenge. We set the date to start on Tuesday, right after the Labor Day weekend. It started this Tuesday. Today it should be day 3. How you holding up? Are you doing everything you said you were going to do? How you feeling?
I'm holding up, man. I am holding up. We were talking yesterday about it, how it feels different when you put it out there in the world and people know that you want to be held accountable. So they are holding you a little bit more accountable. People hit me up asking and things of that nature, but the eating been better. I cooked, ate did the meal prep since I did actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I just had a wrap. So I've been eating better. Did have a cheat day. I figured I'd get that on out of the way so I won't be craving for it later, and it'll make it easier. But I'm gonna stay solid throughout the football weekend. I've worked out 3 days. Yeah, I worked out every day. It feels better to do it. It feels good to do what you say you're gonna do, and it also feels good to know people care about it as well. To know people say, well, I'm starting my list and y'all, I like this. It's going to make me do it. That makes you want to keep up with it even more.
Nah, that's real. And shout out to all the people that hit me up, hit Spike up, sent in screenshots, or just reached out and said, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm going to do it myself. I'm glad to know that we aren't by ourselves, and other people have that urge to be accountable and really do things better and do what they say they were going to do. That's pretty much the whole point of this. I've been holding strong too. Really building a routine has done a lot for me just in these past few days. Just getting out of bed with that purpose, that intention, making sure you get some things knocked off your checklist. Like if you start your day and you get some things knocked off, makes the rest of the day smoother. You're more urgent to get some other things done. Yeah, absolutely.
And it helps your confidence throughout the day too. You know you can do shit.
Does. Yeah, it does.
Question yourself.
It does. Like you got one thing done. I've already accomplished something, and it's 5:30 in the morning, even if it's waking up that early, and really just maintaining. I always call these the grace period. So if you're out there and you're making these lists of things you want to do, try to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, so you're not always resetting the clock on yourself. I think I might have mentioned this last week, but if you want to wake up early, don't say I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. every day. because then you're not getting credit if you wake up at 5:30, or say you want to wake up between 5 and 6, or 5 and 6:30. And then once you get down to 6:30, then it's all right. Then bet. Now I'm gonna do 6. Now between 5 and 6. Now between 5 and 5:30 until you reach your target goal. I think progress, not perfection, is the key point. As long as you're doing something. Spike and myself talked about that last week. So it has been impressive. I'm looking forward to next week's check-in more than anything, because 10 days, that's when you're really into it. That's when it's at the point where, all right, I'm almost at the point of no return. Like, I built these habits. I got to lock in these next 11 days to make sure that these are still going to be going. I want to ask you real quick, Spike, and then I got a question for you, School. Have you found yourself have you found yourself at the end of the day looking at a list like, all right, I ain't do this, this, and this yet? Or have you actually found yourself getting into a routine with things? Like, do you have certain things on that? Okay, all right, so you have a routine.
Yeah, I find myself getting in a routine. Okay, I know I'm gonna cook this day, put meal prep for this day. I know as soon as I get done doing this, I'm gonna go work out. It's been the routine. I'm working up towards the list. That'll be my goal this weekend, to come up with a list for the week as far as stuff I want to do.
Yeah, but your daily stuff is getting done, so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's all that matters, man. Shout out to you, man. Proud of you, bro.
Same to you, bro. I appreciate that. Absolutely, I appreciate that.
Gotta keep going. School, you say you listened to chapter 1, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What were your thoughts on it? What were your thoughts on? Actually, as another week in the book fan, as a bookworm, as someone who's contributed and written a chapter in book 1, what are your thoughts on everything with the transition from book 1 to book 2? How things are rolling? I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear your honest opinion about that.
I think everything is going well. I think you guys are picking up right where you left off. I think that it is a different feel, a different vibe, but not in a negative way. Like, it is just a different vibe, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, everything is everything. Like 100. I tell you this all the time, Rich. You're one of my favorite podcasters, bro. I couldn't see you not fitting in anywhere. Like, I mean, you speak at funerals. That's hard to do, bro. Like, you got it. Like, that's all I mean when I say that. Like, you got that shit, bro. Spike, you already know what it is, bro. You one of the goats at this shit.
I appreciate that, my brother. I agree with what you said about Rich as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. So we're not going to get into any kind of like special events topics. We brought School on for a reason, and I am excited to kind of lay this platform out. This is going to be the most personal piece of recording that I've ever done, and probably for School as well.
Yeah.
This is about School, not me, but since School is my brother, my family member, my blood, it is a little bit personal because I know his story, and I know how it's not only affected him and those around him, I know how it's affected me and him. And there's some things that we've experienced for the first time that we had to sort out and work through and things of that nature. But this is really all just to set up for your conversation, and it ties into accountability. If you're watching on YouTube, or obviously you've seen the title, we decided to name this one, People Want to Love You, You Should Let Them Love All of You. Yeah. And that came from American Fiction, the film that came out. That was last year, 2023. I believe early 2023 or whenever it came out. There was a moment where Sterling K. Brown's character was talking to his brother in the film, Monk, who was played by Jeffrey Wright. And he said those words to him. And they resonated with me very much in the theater. People want to love you. You should let them love all of you. And I think there's something to be said about true love is really bringing your authentic self, your true self, the scars, not just the success, not just the joy, but also the things that shaped you to be who you are based on the lessons that you've learned and the decisions that you made. And I think there's something to be said and a good reminder that all of us have those scars. All of us have those things in us, big or small, that we aren't the most proud of. And I think a lot of us take some learning pieces from them, or we take those opportunities to learn from them. And some of them are life changers. And School, before you get into your story, I think I just want to let you know that I'm extremely proud of you, because this is something, and we'll get into this in the conversation, this is not the first time that this is like been a thing.
Yeah.
But it's the first time that I've seen you accept who you are, be honest with yourself,
Yeah.
and really have that urge and fight to get better. And I
Yeah.
see a night and day difference. And I want to talk to you about all of that. But I just want to let you know I'm proud of you. I love you. And I want to lay out the floor for you to kind of tell your story about what's been going on in your life and how you've been holding yourself accountable or being accountable to yourself and showing up for yourself to be the best version of yourself.
For sure, for sure. First off, let me say I love you as well, my brother. I think that goes without saying, but one thing that I've learned on my journey is, you know, you gotta match that shit. You just can't keep telling a motherfucker you love them and ain't no actions that go with that shit. You know what I mean? The best way to say you sorry is change. You know, change your ways. You know, if it's something that you're doing to someone. But let me start off by saying, for those who don't know, which is probably everyone that's really listened to this podcast, I am a drug addict. I don't, you know, I am a drug addict who has today 121 days clean. I've
Congratulations.
been, thank you.
Congratulations on that.
I've been battling addiction since I was about 19 years old. Even earlier than that, I would say about 16, because I started smoking weed early. The first time I ever smoked weed was like, I don't even know if you know this, Rich. I probably was 7, 8 years old.
Had no idea.
Yeah,
We ain't even got to get into all that. But yeah, and just for reference, I guess I should say this. You know, school's my best friend. Like somebody who knows, we always talk about, we know everything. I didn't even know school, and this could be a fault of mine or a lack of judgment on mine, but I wasn't even aware school had an addiction problem until 2023, early 2023.
Yeah.
So you talk about since you were 19, which
Yeah.
was early 2000s or 2008 for you.
Yep.
And I didn't even know till 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that for context. So I'm learning a lot too, and we'll get into it. I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're good. I think that also proves that addiction looks so different for everyone. You know, not everyone is crackhead Billy down the street that'll fix your car for $20. Like, not everyone has that. You know, there's what that's what I considered myself. But now, as I go along in this journey, that's not a thing, bro. Ain't no such thing as functioning addict, bro, because somebody's being neglected. You feel me? You're neglecting something. You know, a function. If you can function, a functioning addict can take care of everything, and that don't exist. So I was losing in more ways than one, in my addiction. But yeah, I started early. First time I ever smoked weed, I say it was about 7, 8, little neighborhood kid, was older than us, pulled out the joint, let everybody hit it. I hit that bitch like 2 or 3 times. I didn't know what was going on. I don't even know if I got high for real. Like I was that. Yeah. Yep. I don't even know if I got high.
This was just like chilling outside. Like just chilling in the hood, like you got playing with friends. Okay.
Yeah. But he was an older dude. He had to be like 14, 15. So probably, you know, at that age, you know what I mean? Where he started his adolescence was fooling. Probably wanted to see what it would look like for a little kid to get high. So that was the first time I ever smoked. And then it turned into, you know, just like a lot of young black men. I didn't have a dad. You know, he went to prison when I was a month old. He didn't come back into my life until I was about 8. He got released from prison. And when I started kicking it with him and hanging out at his house, he left one day, and I remember just being a kid and searching all through his room, like just being nosy. and I found his what I know now is like his roach collection. Like, and I remember taking a lighter and just hitting all of them. Like,
how old was you then?
How old were you in that?
I probably was about 10.
Okay.
Probably about 10 years old. And that was the first time where I would say I really got high. Like okay, I feel something feel different. And I was geeking and I wanted to eat up every fucking thing. And Rich noticed, like, I've been a cook my whole life, bro. I've been cooking since I was 7. Like, that's what I do. Like, you know, I don't give a fuck what it is. I can doctor it up and make it better. I've been thinking like that since I was about 8 years old. So I remember my pops came home. I guess he might have been at a little shorty house, something, and was like, "Boy, what you in here doing?" Like, I was in there cooking up some shit. So yeah, that was about 10. And then again, it never really clicked. Like I still wasn't like addicted or none of that shit. That didn't happen to I was about 16. Kicking it with the homies. Everybody had just hit that point where they were smoking weed. I remember buying some weed from a gentleman in high school and not knowing what I was supposed to get.
The Orange Crush?
The Orange Crush, man. which now looking back on it was just some good reg, man. Just some good mids.
Just had that name to it.
Yeah, but you know niggas gonna throw a name on something. Shit. I'll never forget, and that's how me and if you watch the Culture Garden, my who I consider my little brother Fresh, that's how we really started connecting was weed. Like I had bought this $20 bag of weed and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to roll it up, none of that shit. And I just walked up to him and was like, bro, you smoke? He was like, hell yeah. I was like, all right, we're gonna link up after school. And that was it. Like,
what grade was this?
16. So what? Junior year? 10th grade, junior year, somewhere like that. And we kicked it like every day. And that was when, you know, mom, now I'm coming home smelling like it, you know, thinking I'm doing something new. Like mom's tripping on me, like, boy, I know you ain't smoking no weed and all that bullshit. And and I was.
I can't make playing no games, man.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. She wasn't playing with me, man. Man, one time I gotta tell this. One time she don't even know this. I had a smoke party at the crib, Rich. Like, I don't even want to say the names because I'm not, but it was hella Coleraine High School legends was there. You hear me? Moms had just picked up. My mom's always worked first shift, but for some reason she started working second shift from 2 to 10. Man, we came straight home from school. I had 8 motherfuckers. We was blowing down, nigga.
I wasn't worried about the smell.
Nah, we was outside. If you've seen my mom's house, you know she got a big ass deck. Like it was perfect. It was perfect. So yeah. But I'll transition into when it really got bad for me was about 19 is when everything changed for me. And when I started fucking with Xanax, and the way that started was I liked this girl and she liked Xanax, and everybody was like, shit, you know, if you trying to fuck with her, you gonna need these. Like, so I'm like, well, shit,
bars.
Yeah, Xanax bars.
That's what we call them in the city, the bars.
Yep, I got some bars, and it's crazy because I got them to get her, and then once I got her, I would fuck with them just every blue moon, and then I talked her out of it, like yo, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't like you doing them drugs. That shit ain't cool. And she eventually stopped or whatever. And then I wound up fucking with her friend. And her friend was on a whole nother level. You hear me?
Before you move on, the scary thing about Xanax is they're so good. Like it's like it's an undescribable. I used to take bars and I had to stop fucking with them because it's probably one of the best highs that you'll have. You just be like, you feel like just don't shit matter.
And
Like
the
there's nothing
fucked up
you
part,
won't be able to say to make me
yeah,
mad. I'm relaxed. I'm cool. So
yep,
yeah, I totally
nothing.
yeah.
Well, the fucked up part about Xanax is you don't remember the next day.
Don't remember shit. Yep.
So that's why another reason why I didn't want my girl at the time fucking with them shits, because bitch, you can go to a party, fuck around, some shit happen, and you ain't gonna remember nothing. Like, that was one of my fears for her. Like, man, this shit is crazy. You can't keep doing these motherfuckers. So eventually, like I said, I met her friend. That was super cool. And her step pops had just gotten into a car accident. So this is like 08, 09, where that epidemic of doctors writing scripts just for the hell of it. So he got into a car accident. His left leg got infected so bad that they amputated it. So they gave him some perks. I think they was like perk 7.5s. They gave him the perk 7.5s. A month later, his other leg got infected. Now they doubled his script and gave him perk 10s. So this motherfucker had so many perks that he just was handing them out. Like he giving them to my girl's mom giving them to us. Like she was one of the cool parents, one of the cool moms, obviously. And it started off just as a weekend thing. Like, shit, I ain't got shit to do. Shit, I'm kicking it with my girl. We going da. And I'll never forget when I knew, it's probably like 3-4 months later, of doing that same Friday through Sunday, getting fucked up, but working, handling my business Monday through Thursday. One day, a Monday, I woke up, bro, and I felt sick as hell. Like at first it feels like a cold or a flu. Like, damn, something ain't right. Like, so I called off work, and I wound up calling my girl and was like, babe, I ain't go to work today, blase. And she was like, what's wrong? And I told her, and she said, give me 20 minutes, I'll be over there. So I'm like, all right, bet. She come through, bro. She said, I think you withdrawn. And I'm like, withdrawn? What the fuck is you talking about? She like, you sick, like your body need these pills. And I'm like, bitch, you crazy. Ain't no way. Like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm like, ain't no way I ain't. Man, she broke one of them motherfuckers down. I snorted that motherfucker. And I mean, I was back. And that was when I knew, like, fuck, I'm hooked. Like, I can't not do these motherfuckers. Cause if I don't, I'm gonna be fucked up.
Let me ask you real quick. Let
Yeah.
me jump in real quick and just ask you a question. So at that time when that happens, do you, and I'm sure you'll get to it, to the point when you was like, all right, man, I really got to go out and seek help, because this is, you say you was 19.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is another whole 10 years plus later
Yeah.
until you decided.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you said it like, fuck, like this is
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
it got me. So were you aware that I might be addicted to this, or was it something where you blame it on naivete? Like, what was your mindset during that time?
Definitely naivete. Because in your mindset, in the way that everything was working, I figured that there was not a chance that I would never have them. You feel me? So that, me being naive, like I said, I didn't feel good. I called my girl. She obviously with, you know what I'm saying? The go ahead.
I was going to ask you also, on top of that, were you aware of what it was doing to your body? Were you aware of any health effects? Because
Not
when
yet.
when you're young like that, you just do stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm bounce back tomorrow. So
Yep.
a lot of people don't even start thinking about their health and even the foods they eat and what it does to their
Mhm.
bodies until they're 30
Yep.
plus, or
Yep.
unless they actually have like a allergy or a need for it. So I was just wondering if you ever thought about that and was like, damn, I should chill because this is gonna have this kind of effect on me long term or whatever.
Nope. Not even,
Okay.
not even close.
If you had known, would you have cared anyway?
Probably not.
Like same, yeah. I
Probably
could,
not.
because
And go ahead.
like with you were saying with Xanax, like I know I used to at least take them probably in the air of the day or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the motherfucker would tell me, like, that mess up your liver. Like, it ain't gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Then and when you taking them, you're like, I don't really care, bro. Like, it ain't gonna mess
Mm-hmm.
up mine. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
not mine.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And real quick, I don't know if any of you guys heard this. And it's sad, but it's It's just a coincidence that we are having this conversation.
Oh
I
yeah, I
don't know if
forgot
you
to say
guys
that.
heard about
Rich homie Quan.
Rich homie Quan, man. They said he caught a fake pill.
That's why I'm glad that when I was taking, it was 10, 15 years ago, you didn't have to worry about that. Now
Not
they
at all.
lacing in with, like, I'm
Not at
so
all.
relieved that ain't a vice that I still have. That
Yeah.
you gotta like worry about them lacing pills with fentanyl. Like I know,
Mhm.
especially in Nashville where I'm from, like it's happening a lot. I'm talking
Yeah.
about people that I went to school with, people you just know from around the way, the same age as you, and you're like, I need died yesterday, bro. Took a
Yep.
fake pill. Like
Yep.
it's a common thing. That shit is crazy.
And it also shows you motherfuckers that fuck with real pills. So they see real pills more than they see fake pills. You feel me? And
Good point.
and you know something's not right about this pill,
And
but
they still take it.
you so thirsty, you feel me, that you say fuck it.
Yep.
It probably rubbed off in his bag, or you know what I mean, something you tell yourself, your mind tells you something that fits, where you like, you know, like I said, oh, he had a bunch in the bag, so that's why it's like that. Like, no, if that motherfucker ain't crispy clean, that shit fake, bro. Like straight up. If you got 100 of them motherfuckers and they and you flip them bitches and they all flip the same way, them motherfuckers fake. But anyway, where was I at? Oh, okay. So
You
yeah,
saying you were 19 and
yes,
you
I
just found
was.
out you was addicted.
Yes, I was very naive. Like I said, I didn't think anything would change. I was dating the daughter of the pill man. We barely had to pay for anything. And when I was paying, this is when everything just started, where everything was $1 a milligram. You feel me? So if I'm getting a 7.5, them motherfuckers $7.50. If I get a 10, it's 10. If I get a 5, obviously. So this is when they were cheaper. I could lightweight afford the motherfuckers. But again, knowing what I know now, the addiction was in me, period. You know how people say, you know, weed is a gateway drug and things of that nature. It has nothing to do with being a gateway drug. It's about if you have an addictive personality. And that's real. And I think about that now because Rich can attest, bro. You know how I smoke, bro. Like I'm smoking back to back to back to back. Like I remember smoking with a motherfucker, and they said to me, "Bro, you can't get no higher." Like put
Yeah.
that down.
How
Like
high you trying to get?
How
yeah,
you
like
trying to get?
and there's a ceiling. Like eventually, like I don't give a fuck. You smoke 3 of them motherfuckers. Like that might be the max. You rolling up
That's
3
the thing
more.
about weed. Yep. Once you
Yes.
get there, you there. Ain't no I'm going
There.
higher than this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm talking about I'm smoking quarters a day type shit. Like
God dang.
and that's not that's dumb. You know what I mean? But that was the addiction in me. Like, you know, I remember when I first met the same chick I'm talking about, she introduced me to her friend and she said, "This the dude I was telling you about that be smoking back to back to back. Like he gonna smoke us out." Like in my mind, I'm thinking, "Yeah, I'm that nigga." Like you know what I mean? But I'm like, this bitch was using me. Shit, this bitch, these bitches was trying to get high. Shit. I ain't mad at him though. So
This
yeah,
is around 19 in college, you
yeah,
said?
yep,
Yeah.
19, yeah, college, yeah, all right.
College age, I should say.
Yeah, college age for sure. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, 19. I thought it was, you know, all gonna work out. I was always gonna have it. All that stupid ass bullshit. Um, and I mean for real, just from 19 to shit 24, 25, like everything was pretty cool, legit. Like not necessarily cool, but I could afford it. I was still working. If I was to ever say I was a functioning addict, that would be the era from 19 to about 24, 25. Like
So
go ahead.
from that 19 to 20, I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off. I
No.
want an idea of like what's it like on a daily basis with smoking. You said it, but with popping the perks, is that like one a day? Is that one at night, morning? Like what is that habit like?
Okay, so the way I fucked around is and shout out to my boy Fresh, because he always said to me, bro, when you do it, you do it. And that's the real. Like I was in, like I would smoke a joint in the morning, pop a pill, and I don't pop pills. I would snort pills. Like anything that I fuck with, I was snorting. So I would crush a pill up. You know, I would get one of them joints from Walgreens that has the
Pill grinder.
Yep, the grinder that has a cutter in it and a crusher, and then the water cup in it. So I had that. I kept that bitch on me at all times. I had that. I would do one in the morning. You feel me? Smoke me a blunt and go on about my day. Like whether that be work, going to my girl house, kicking it, whatever my day was supposed to be, I wasn't getting started without getting high first. Period. And there was a point where, you know, I was okay with just having weed. Like, damn, the pill man out. All right, I'm cool. Like, you know what I mean? I got a couple more that can last me for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm doing 1-2 pills at a time. And then towards 23, 24, 25 is when it became 3 pills, you know, 30 milligrams. I need 30 milligrams to get started. Where I'm starting my day off with 3 pills. You feel me? 4 pills, sometimes 5. Depending on how my day went, my night went, my mood. Did somebody piss me off? You know, oh shit, they called me into work. Well, I'm going in that bitch fucked up. I don't give a fuck.
What kind of job did you have? You don't mind me asking.
Cook. I was a
Okay.
cook. Another thing, restaurant. That's in my life right now. I will never work another restaurant job because that is where the drugs are. Seriously, like, and I don't give a fuck whatever restaurant you go to, from 5-star to McDonald's, they in there. You feel me? When you go to that restaurant and you be like, damn, shorty look a little off because she fucked up.
Do you
Straight
think
up.
that's because of the because you told me, and it's not funny at
Mhm.
all. It's just wild. Like the wildness of the story is it you can't help but to nervous laugh.
Man,
But I remember you told me the story about the girl who was driving backwards on the highway.
what? She was Biggie. She was going Biggie style, hypnotized video on the
Yeah,
highway.
like
Wet.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
wet.
super wet.
Super wet, bro. And it went, and it's crazy because I don't know this to be a for sure, but 8 times out of 10, she probably just got off work because we kill a shift and then we stay behind and they'll keep the bar open and we get fucked up. And guess what? Your manager getting fucked up with you. Your manager might pull out the bag of coke. Your manager might pull out the perks today. Like, restaurant industry is no drug testing unless you get hurt. If you get hurt and you want to file a claim, they gonna drug test you. And 9 times out of 10, you ain't going. And
So
it's real.
do you think that's because of the high stress industry that is? Do you think that's why it's more prevalent in the restaurants like that, or people who work in restaurants?
No, I think it's because that's the easiest job to get. And what I mean by that is if you down on your luck, you can get a job at McDonald's. And that's no diss to anybody that's working at McDonald's. Like, but
They always need
that's
people.
they always need people. Restaurant industry always need people. Like, serving job. That's and you got to figure too, when it comes to servers, drug dealers deal in cash. You feel me? Servers work with cash. So it's easy for them. And Rich know this. I dated a lot of my coworkers at Red Lobster, and a lot of them were drug addicts. And it was easier for them to get the drugs because they had cash at all times. Like we come together before work started, and she might say, "Shit, if I make, if I get at least 6 tables and they tip this and we work this out, shit, I can get 120. We can get 12 pills tonight." Like, I'm like, shit, let's do it. Like that bit, she'd come to me. Her shift ain't even over. She done hit the 120 mark at 6:30. She talking about, shit, I'm ready to go home. It's time. You feel me? It's time.
So let me ask. Go ahead, Spike.
My question was about, you said you dated the pill man daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it wasn't this whole time.
No.
Once that relationship ended and you started to have to, like you said, put the plan together to buy them, it didn't affect your habit at all?
No, because as you know, the epidemic has started of the pills. Like everyone, bro, there was a time where you can go to the hospital and say my tooth hurt, and they would write you a Perk 5 script. There was a time where you can go to the hospital and say my back fucked up. See, that's one of those things that they can't tell you. They can't really tell you nothing about your back. So if I go in there and say my back, this hurts and blah 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 blah, there's nothing. There's no X-ray besides like your vertebrae being fucked up. But as far as like pain, they don't know. There's no
way to determine it yet.
There's no way to determine if you're telling the truth or not. So I knew plenty of people that would go to the hospital and say whatever they needed to, and especially if they ain't the color of us, and pump it up. They was walking out of there with 120 Perk 10s, and we back on.
They used to have the pill meals where you didn't even have to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Like they had them down here. I don't know if they had them in Cleveland, but it was real big in Florida. Yeah, you just pull up to like somebody to sell scripts and, oh, I got this pain. Doctor on site signing off on. I seen a movie about this called Dope Sick, or a TV show.
Yes.
Damn.
And that was how I kept it going. And it's crazy how mental addiction is too, because there would be times where I didn't have anything and I'm salty, bro. I'm treating everybody around me like shit. Fuck you. I don't want to talk to you. I'm mad. And I get that text message, and they'll send you the message, and all of it say is 10s in or 7.5s in, and my whole mood changed. You hear me? Yeah, it's time. I'm gone. See you. I'm going to get them. I ain't even did the motherfuckers. They only in my pocket, bro, and I'm happy as hell. That's how I know that shit's a mental thing as well. Like I ain't even broke nothing up. Just to know that I have them changes my whole mood.
That is
shit is crazy.
So I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
And this could just be being too close, because and I would hear so there's a famous time, not a famous, but me and school talk about it. We laugh about it. When I went off to school, like me and school were 2 grades apart.
Yeah.
We say we're brothers. We're actually, me and school are first cousins.
Yeah.
But we're brothers because we literally grew up together. Like when
your mamas are sisters?
Yes.
Yeah, our moms are sisters. Like literally there's 12 of them. They are back to back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
your
we
cousin,
went to
your
the
first
same
friend.
Yeah,
that's the first friend you had in life. Yeah.
We 2.5 years apart. We're 2 grades apart, and everything that I did as a child, he did. So he was like my sister. Shout out to Big Sis. She's 9 years older than me. So when I was younger, she was already
8 years older than me. Yep.
Yeah, my cousin Keisha, his sister. So like Angel was already down at FAMU and everything else. So as far as like having a sibling or someone around, that was school for me. Because everybody, you know, we had the big house, like my grandparents' house, 85, 85. So all the cousins, that was the central place.
Yep.
But we went to school together. We catch the bus together. We get off the school bus together. If I was going on summer vacation, school going with us, Disney World, Niagara Falls, Detroit, like that's how it was. Like there was summertime, I'm over schools or schools over mine. Like that's just how it was. We just grew up together. So I remember one time when I had to be 19 because I was a freshman in college, and I came home once and I went back to the old school, and I was just gonna pull up on Isaiah. I'm gonna call you my fault. I meant to say we're gonna call you Isaiah. I was gonna pull up on Isaiah, and I remember going through the halls and looking for him. I'm like, damn, where he at? And this other dude, I'm not gonna say his name, but he came up to me. He's pretty much snitched on him. He's like, yeah, man, you know, Isaiah be smoking weed and he be skipping school. And I'm like, what? And I remember hitting Isaiah up, like, yo, my nigga, like, I need to holler at you. Like, what's this I hear about this? I was on it was like some Rashad and Ant.
Big brother.
Yeah. Like, it was on some real.
Yeah.
Because I never, and I say all that to say, I never knew certain things. Or I remember hearing certain things in your 20s where it's like, man, I heard Isaiah taking them pills and shit. And I'm like, nah, man, you crazy. Like, that don't even sound right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure looking back on it now, and we'll get to 2023. But I'm sure looking back on it now, like there were plenty of times where you were on pills, on bars, everything else, and I didn't know. Were you ever paranoid about that? Did that ever cross your mind? Like, what is he gonna say? Because we have that kind of relationship, and it drives me crazy sometimes that you care so much what I think, but also I know that's something that you would be on high alert. I guess I'm saying all this to say I'm shocked at myself that I never picked up on it for all these years.
Let me say this. I'm gonna see if you remember this story. Do you remember the day you came over my house and I pulled that coke out?
Hell yeah. I'll never forget that. School's about to get tossed through the window.
That was the day. That was the day that I said, damn, I gotta. So I fucked with pills too, but I had a coke era, that fun party, fucking all night era, and I was in my coke era, and Rich started smoking, so I'm like, yeah, he cool, like he finally coming to the dark side, like, so I'm like, I wonder what this nigga do if I pull out this coke on this mirror, see what's gonna happen. So this nigga come in my room, and I just pulled it out. I'm like, yo, you trying to get down? Bro, this nigga flipped the what, nigga? The fuck type shit? Put that shit to hey.
Snapped on him.
Yeah.
Don't you ever pull that shit out in front of me. Like,
yeah. And that was the moment where I was like, all right, I know he's never going to be okay with this. So
damn.
As long as
how old are you, Scoop? I mean, Isaiah.
I'm 35. I turned 35 in June.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 37.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So I put that away, and that was it. Like I don't want to say I put you on that pedestal, but especially as an addict, I know who I can entice and who I can't. And I knew that you were unbreakable. There's plenty of people, and I'm not proud of this, but there's plenty of people that have said, I'm not about to do that. And then it gets in front of them and they fuck it, and that's another thing too about drugs is whenever someone wants you to try something, they always compare it to whatever you like. That's just how it is. The first time I did a perk, a motherfucker said it's like smoking 3 joints in one. And I'm a pothead, so I'm like, shit, fuck it. So I can save money on weed and I can do these. Fuck it, I'm gonna try it. And that was it. Like, and looking back now, it is not the same. Like you feel good for sure, but it's not the same. It's not the same at all. Because if it was, I would have quit smoking weed, but I still was smoking weed.
So all of this is going on, and we can jump back and fill in the gaps from where you were in your mid to late 20s, but we get to 2023, and at this point, you and I have a podcast together. Culture Garden starts, right? Something you and I created.
Yeah.
And then early, very, very, very early on in the process, we had Rachel on as a guest, and school had the idea, let's bring Rachel in as that third person. She'd be perfect. Obviously, it's been the best decision ever.
Yeah. Shout out to Ray P, man. Love you, girl.
Ray P.
Yeah, shout out to Ray P. Working with each other in that lane, and I'm curious to know what you think about this and your perspective on it, because there were a lot of times where I was frustrated because of certain things, but I still didn't at that time look at it as, like, Isaiah's got a problem. It was more so Isaiah just seemed lazy. It just seems like his passion isn't there, and there were a lot of our conversations were based around. If you remember the classic conversation where I asked you, I said, "Listen, is this a passion or is this a hobby?
Is this a hobby?
I need you to tell me right now what this is to you, so I know how to move accordingly. Because if this is a hobby to you, then that's cool. Like, I'll let you treat it as such. I'm not even going to trip on you. But if this is a passion, the same way it's a passion to me, like, I need you here. Like, I need you. I need you riding. And we would bump heads, and it was odd to me because we don't really bump heads a lot. And I've also, as you've gotten older, I was always advocating, like, school, like, bro, like, if you got to check me, check me. Like, I will always tell you that. Like, I don't never want you to dim your voice because I'm quote unquote big bro. Like, you got to check me, check me. Like, we both adults, we both grown at this point. And those were some of the first times where I felt we just weren't on the same page and we weren't clicking. And then in February, go ahead, Spike.
No, go ahead.
Okay, in February 2023, I believe it was around that time. You randomly reached out to me and said, "Hey, bro, like, I got a drug addiction problem." And I remember hearing that from you and realizing that for the first time. And the first thing, it was more so shocking, but not shocking a way. It was more so, damn, I can't believe that. I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe I wasn't able to see that, even though there were some signs there. Maybe I chose not to see it. But the first thing was, all right, we got to get you together. We got to get you right. You checked yourself into the facility. I believe it was 30 days. I remember coming to see you. I remember how difficult that was because you had the shakes. Like, you could tell your body was withdrawn from what it was. And mentally, I'm just doing a lot of catching up. Like, yo, what was it? What have you been on? Like, I didn't even know. But I knew there was going to be a time and place, and I was just 100% there to support you. Compared to this last time, which happened in April. April, May.
April.
When there was a lot of anger that I had towards you. There's a lot of anger because I felt at that point it was a choice. And what helped me was I took a lot of time really having to understand, and this is something that I think the community looks at as a whole, the way we look at school. You mentioned it earlier, crackhead Billy down the street that'll fix your brakes for $20. When you think of addiction, especially substance abuse and drug addiction, you think of those people in a certain way. And in general, in the community, that's just not a good thing to be. Like, we don't give props to addicts. We don't give props to certain people. And I had to change that, and I thought about, we have a family member who passed, who suffered from addiction. You realize a lot of people suffer from addiction. It just might not be in the form of substance or drugs. There's a lot of people addicted to gambling. There's a lot of people addicted to women. A lot of people addicted to sex,
food.
There's all types of stuff.
It's a lot of shit.
And we talk about those addictive natures. I'm glad that I was able to. You and I started building, or not started. We had that conversation. It really wasn't difficult, but it had to be had. It really changed things and got us back on track because there was a lot of anger towards you, and I didn't know how to express that with you. And I also was worried about triggering you. or doing something that's going to make you slide. And then it wasn't until I saw you in person, the first time I saw you after you had been out, and I could see it. Like I physically saw it with my eyes, like, oh, this is night and day.
Yeah.
This is night and day. Like this is a whole different person.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, and hopefully you don't mind me telling this, I know you said keep it honest, so we're gonna keep it honest.
Yeah.
When school, the first time you went in, when Isaiah, the first time you went in, when you were getting towards the end of those 30 days, one of the first things you asked me was if I can get you some weed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those moments where I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people in general, like I can't, if I'm doing something that's hard for me to tell you not to.
Mm-hmm.
But in that sense, I said it, but I didn't say it. I pretty much told you, listen, I don't think that's a good idea at all.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't. I'm not going to sit here and baby you. You're going to do it if you want to do it anyway, right? I'm telling you, it's not something I think you should be doing. I'm telling you right now, it's not something I'm going to be providing for you. I'm telling you right now, it's not something anybody I know is going to be providing to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not something I'm going to do around you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's just what it is. So from you not even being finished or barely being finished to like, hey, I'm already ready to smoke, to now you coming up and telling me like, yo, and this is a big deal to give context. I mentioned when school was on, my bad. I mentioned when Isaiah was on Another Week in the Books. Book 1. And I told you, I said, bro, that wasn't you. That was a show. I don't know what I just listened to.
Yeah.
But that wasn't authentic at all. Like
really?
Would you? I don't know. School. I mean, Isaiah, would you agree? Would you disagree?
Well, I want to know what made you say that. What made you say that?
Because I feel like everything on the he enjoyed the platform, and I think he wanted to be a good guest versus just being honest about what he thought about things and what he felt about things. There's just certain things, and I can't recall. I would have to actually go back and I know him. So there were certain things he would say. I'm like, nigga, you ain't like that. You know what I mean? Or I know you mean that, but you don't mean it in that way. You're putting a little extra on it versus I wanted the real. This was such a place for authenticity, right? And I wanted that real school to come out. And I wanted certain things. I never pushed him to ever speak on this stuff. But I was always thinking, like, I wonder when that day is going to come when he wants to do it. And that second stint you came out, you wanted to do it. You wanted to be more proactive. You were very comfortable with who you were and who your flaws were and how you got to this point and that you wanted to change things.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I give all that background. Let's go back a little bit.
I got a question.
When we were getting it. Go ahead, Spike.
I can relate to some of the stuff that you're saying. Obviously, not to the extent.
I'm sorry. My fault, y'all. Coco Jones is singing the national anthem. She looks gorgeous. My apologies, y'all. I ain't mean to. Coco is that fine to where it makes me break. It makes me break.
You got to break the conversation. Yeah, it's 100%. I don't mind that at all.
And this is a serious conversation. My bad.
It is. School. Oh, excuse me, Isaiah.
Yeah.
I can relate to some of the things that you're saying because of some of the habits that I've had throughout the years. My question before the rehab, and I'm submitting myself to 30 days, was there a specific incident, a conversation, did somebody pull you to the side, or did you feel like you was pretty much fooling everybody and getting away with just your vice? Like, was it something that made you?
So for those who don't know, for those who don't know, I have been married since 2015.
I knew it without asking. It was a woman. It's always got to be. It's a good woman.
Yep. I have she'll be 18 at the end of the month. I have an 18-year-old stepdaughter. I have a 7-year-old daughter.
You're talking about your wife. I was like, wait, what?
No.
Hell nah. Come on. Don't put that on my boy.
Don't do me like that.
That was a joke, just to lighten up the mood.
No weird cases. No weird cases. No
Bacchus. One of the best things to happen to me was my wife, and again, she changed my life again. You think getting married is life changing, and then having a kid is life changing. Well, tried doing all that while, you know, being in the middle of addiction, and then um you know, being with someone and they get to a point where they feel they're enabling you, um and then you know, she starts going to this program, and she finds out like, whoa, I've been enabling this guy. I need to work on myself. She starts working on herself. She starts growing, and she looks at the man she loves and says, damn, babe, I want you to, you know, what's up with this? Like, when are you gonna grow up? You know, she gave me one of them, like straight up. You know, we got a daughter, we got daughters. Um, you know, at what point, you know, what do you want them to think about you? And that was one of those wake up calls, but still not enough. Addiction is strong. So the first time I went, it was a detox joint. I went there for about 2 weeks. And while I was there, I don't want to say I knew I was going to come out and get high, but I definitely knew I wasn't ready. It definitely was to um, appease her more than anyone. And now it's one of my biggest regrets, because
Which part? Going in the
not
first place,
not
or not putting your
not
all
taking
into
it
it?
serious.
I got you.
Not taking it serious, because if I would have taken it serious, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. And what I'm saying about what I mean is, I am 4 months clean. On the 7th, I'll be 4 months clean, and she doesn't. I don't want to say she doesn't care, but she's afraid to care, because for the past few years, I've been faking it, bro. I've been going to recovery and going to NA meetings and all this shit, getting high at the NA meeting. Going to the NA meeting, going to the parking lot. I ain't even going in that motherfucker. I'm in there getting high in the parking lot. Just for an hour, just so she think I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And then I get
Oh,
caught. So now she's at the point where she's scared. She's scared to really believe, because she's used to the other foot dropping and me disappointing. So now I got to work really hard. Now I'm working twice as hard, when the first time all I had to do was take it serious, and I would have that support. You know, I would have somebody behind me going, baby, 4 months. Like, I'm so fucking proud of you. You know what I mean? But I faked 4 months before. So it's like, okay, congratulations. You know what I'm saying?
so I was gonna ask you real quick, because we talked about early 2023, and then we talked about what happened a few months ago of this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At what point? How long in that? At what point in that process or that time were you using again?
Okay, so we got out February. So probably by March.
So it was within, because I, once again, for a whole nother, minus a couple instances, but
Mhm,
you would tell me certain things
mhm,
from a health perspective where I was like, all right, that must be that.
mhm,
Or I'm taking this medication for this. You
mhm.
know, some of the things you had, and you know, it's gonna have these effects.
But
So
see,
I was taking that as law.
that was closer to the end of 23, because I got diagnosed. So again, for those who don't know, and I'm sure no one does, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in September of 23. Um, and that didn't help my situation. That I believe that was really the beginning of like the nosedive. Like when motherfuckers say they hit their bottom, that was the beginning of my bottom. Like, because um I was at a mindset where I believed that God was punishing me for all the drug usage, all of the nonsense. You know, I've done shit that um, people wouldn't believe. You know, I had a conversation with moms, and she said, "Have you ever had a fist fight?" And I wanted to say, "Are you serious?" I was a drug addict. Like what? Yes. um.
Le- Help
So
me understand.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, help me understand something in the sense of
Yeah.
like it doesn't seem like you were hiding it. You had your routine, you was
Mhm,
doing your thing.
mhm.
So did you find that, oh, I'm hanging out with most people who are like me. That's why it's not an issue, and nobody was bringing it to your attention? Or were you hiding it and mostly none of the people hanging out with you were on the same type of time that you were on?
So one of the worst
I never
things,
picked up on it
And
ever.
that's what
okay.
I'm wondering. Because
So
I tell you and the reason I ask, because one of the
mhm,
biggest things for me, why I had to quit like some of my vices called turkeys, because niggas would be talking.
mhm,
And it'll be a conversation that two of my friends had, and then one of them will come back and tell me.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm a pride, like me and Rich have similar personality. My
Mhm,
pride is so much that like I know a nigga got me fucked up to think that this thing or these things can keep me from being who I am. However,
right.
they watching it though. They
Yeah.
seeing like, ah, nigga,
Yeah.
we was at the club and you was falling asleep, nigga.
Mhm.
Like so for me, what it was that made me do it was like I have some really dope friends.
Yeah.
And those friends, though, they may not know it because they didn't directly, some of them didn't have the balls to tell me, but they would talk amongst each other.
Yeah.
And then that conversation would finally get back to me from one of those friends. And I'm like, oh, niggas got me fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you in that boat, or was it I'm just hanging with niggas is getting down anyway, so it don't matter?
Nah, see what fucked me over in that situation is and a lot of addicts deal with this isolation.
Mm,
I isolated myself. I didn't see I learned from previous relationships that drugs in relationships are bad because you gonna fight. Eventually you're gonna get the fighting over drugs. Like I send my girl out with 200 and normally she come back with 20 pills, but for some reason today she come back with 16. She fake drop one, you know, shit like that. Like and
mm,
that was when I decided, for one, like I'm never dating somebody who uses again. Shout out to my
mm.
wife. Um, and and then I isolated myself. Like besides
And I
going to go ahead.
I'll jump in real quick. And when
Yeah.
schools say that, and it's crazy how things just make sense. There'll be
Mm-hmm.
times when I'll be like, yo, school, I got these tickets to the Reds game. And school would tell me he's coming and he don't come. Or I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey man, let's go to the movies, check this out. And school be like, all right, I'm down. And then he wouldn't just I pull up to his house once. He like, oh man, me and the missus got into it. I don't feel like doing that no more. And that was all starting to make sense. It was like, damn, I can't get school out the house. On top of some
Mm-hmm.
other trauma shit. Like I know something
Mm-hmm.
happened when you went to a club once and something happened in front of
Yeah.
you, which
Yeah.
obviously stopped you from even going out at all, understandably
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of crazy to think about when it comes back full circle.
Yeah. Isolation. I didn't and another thing too, it could have been isolation, or I might not have had my dope. So it's like I don't want to go because I ain't gonna have no fun. Because I'm gonna be thinking about is when is this
Damn, what
nigga
if I was high?
yeah, when is this nigga gonna text me and tell me he got this shit in? Fuck this, fuck the Reds, fuck all that. Where the dope at? You know, that was my mindset. Like, and that's shitty, but it's the truth. Like, I didn't give a fuck. You know, there was a point where me and the wife had a convo, and she was like, you know, well, before that, like there comes a point where you're in denial and you just feel like, oh, I'm doing drugs. Like I ain't hurting nobody. I ain't stealing. I ain't robbing. I ain't killing. Like, and then my wife put it to me in the perspective of like, you are hurting us. You won't come out that fucking room and spend time with
Mm,
us. all you do is sit in that fucking room. And you know what I was sitting in that room doing? Getting high, passing out, falling asleep, waking up, getting high, passing out, falling asleep. Like it was what was going on. I didn't want to do
And
shit but get high.
that felt better than you than doing anything else.
Anything, bro, than anything.
That's
You know. And
I was gonna ask
go ahead.
you real quick. Obviously, there's some people you can't avoid. Moms,
Yeah.
me, things like that.
Yeah.
I talked about me. Did
Mhm.
moms ever hit you with the what's going on, or was because obviously a mother's intuition is just second. Woman and mother's intuition is second to none. Was there anybody who pointed it out like, yo, I think something going on with what I said?
So in 2013, I'll never forget it. I came to mom's house, and I weighed. So on average, I usually weigh about between 220. And I came to mom's house, I was like 177. Like you could see my collarbone, like all that shit. And I think that was the first time where mom's was like, she slowly saw me getting skinny. And at first, it looks good on you. And then there becomes a point where you look sick. And mom's hit me with it like, yo, what the fuck going on? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm good. I've been exercising. She's like, nah, nigga. Like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, nothing. I'm good. Like, I swear. Like, and then I found myself in a situation that was fucked up where I had to call moms for some bread. Like I was in a fucked up situation. And I had to tell her the truth. Like, man, I've been addicted to pills. Like, I need some
You told her this
money.
in 2013?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that like, what is that? One of the hardest things you ever done?
Yep. And then, so that was hard. And then it was hard again when I had to tell her, that I was in rehab again, like, because we never really had that combo again. Like, it was kind of like, I think it's just
we
a black
don't
thing.
do that
Like,
a lot. Yeah,
we don't do that a lot. Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a black, and I'll say this too, School. It's a family thing as well.
Yeah.
Our family as a whole just doesn't
Mhm.
address things that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
My family's like that. We very like surface. We we're not emotional people. Like it's funny sides to like my immediate family, like my grandmother, her children, and then her children's children, which would be my cousins. Like we're so unemotional. Like we were I think I told the story another week in the books, but real quick, we were at a gathering, like a memorial for my grandmother. And one of our cousins that's not our immediate cousin was like crying and sobbing and going through this whole sad story. And my immediate family, we all looking at each other like, man, what the fuck wrong with her? But that's like that's natural thing to do. We had a fucking memorial. But we so removed emotionally, like my immediate family, and not talking about stuff like that in which you said. It's like we look at that shit as being, it's not weird is the wrong word, but it's just so out of touch for us.
Yeah. So we never really,
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, we never really touched on it again. I seen that I seen my weight. And so what I started doing was I started adding more weed to the mix, because weed obviously makes you eat. So I'm like, I obviously, if I get too skinny, it shows. I'm supposed to be big boned it. Like, so I started smoking more, and that kind of helped me pick up weight and stay in the right right weight area for people to stay up off me. Yeah, like for real. I kind of wanted to just say too, in I want to say about 2015, 2016 is where rappers really started talking about Percocets, and that changed everything. Once rappers got a hold of the Percocets and start rapping about it, it changed everything. The prices went up. Everybody wanted them. It got really, really bad. And they got very expensive, double the MG, 10s for 20s, 7.5s for 15. Like shit went wild. And it got hard. It got hard. And I started watching a lot of people that I know start doing heroin, because heroin is an opioid.
Yep.
So it's very much cheaper than the pills. And I was one of those niggas that was like, I never touch heroin, like ever, like, oh fuck no, like because there's a look that people have when they do certain drugs, and I'm just like, hell nah, like y'all niggas look like y'all stink, y'all wash y'all, like nah. And I skipped that shit and went to fentanyl. Like, I think, and I don't want to say God has a sense of humor, but damn it, God has a sense of humor. Because I
You
mean,
went
I
to
was dogging
fentanyl
niggas.
straight, like pill.
I was dogging niggas. I went from doing Percocets. Like, I'll never forget. And I hate to say he was a friend, but one of my dealers hit me with it and just was like, bro, why do you keep coming over here and spending $100 on 5 pills when you can spend 100 and get 2 grams of this? Like, and it's triple potent, and it's gonna last you for a month. Like, if you do that shit right, it's gonna last you a month. And I'm like, nah, I'm cool. He gave me a sample, and it was over. Like, fentanyl is very, very addictive.
What form was that in? Was it powder?
Powder, yes.
So 2 grams of powder for 100.
Yep.
Were you aware of the effects of? Go ahead, my bad, Spike.
Did it last you for a month?
Yes.
So it must be a real small dose.
Yeah.
Were you aware of the dangers of fentanyl?
What year was this too?
This was 2020. 2020. And the crazy part about it was I caught COVID in October of 2020, and I went out of my home with COVID to go get dope. That's how strong this shit is, bro. That's how powerful addiction is, bro.
So let me ask you this: when you're in the middle, like I talked about us having a business together as far as Culture Garden and these other things, and what was your thought? Like, were you even thinking about like the pod in that sense? And what I mean is, like, do you feel like you were able to effectively still do that, or did you know you were like, man, I got an issue? What was your mindset or your process doing that?
My thought process was, again, I am a functioning addict. I am getting through this shit. I am making shit shake. I am going to work every day. I'm bringing money home to my wife. I am, I'm a good dad. All that shit. And nobody could tell me anything different.
Because even before
my mindset, yeah.
I'm gonna say, because even before you went into rehab and I knew about that, there was a time I hit you when I was like, bro, we need to pump the brakes, man. I don't want to say put you on suspension, but it was kind of like you got to sit on the bench for a second because for some reason, and I had no idea what it was from the drug side of things, because I thought you were still clean this whole time. Because you would tell me like, yo, I've been clean on this for X amount of time, and I believe you because I didn't have no reason not to.
And guess what? That's why she was, because I'm telling her the same. I'm telling I'm going to meetings, picking up coins, in NA and Celebrate Recovery. They give you coins and key tags for, time clean. I'm picking up all that shit. I'm walking around with them, perping.
So,
and the whole time, the reason that's happening is because you were doing it for them at that point, right? Like you were doing it for the perception of you. So moms wouldn't be tripping, wifey wouldn't be tripping, Rich won't be on my ass.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I never even checked in, but I get that. That makes sense because your family and moms and everything. But I remember going back to that conversation when I was like, bro, like we just ain't something off. I don't know what it is, but something ain't there.
You were saying this, Rich?
I was saying this at school because
so you wasn't picking up on the drug or what he actually had going on, but you could tell, being that's my cousin, friends since day one? Like something just ain't right with you.
Well, no, when I say it wasn't right, I wasn't even thinking drugs. I just knew something's off between us. So here's the thing, and I told you that first time he went in, it was shock. And my whole intent was whatever we got to do for school. That's why I was so angry the second time. And he talks about it when he talks about his wife. That's why the second time I was angry about it. Because I'm like, damn, bro, like, in school to tell you this, I'm probably one of the most non-judgmental people when it comes to certain, like, I don't, bro, we all got our own flaws and issues. Like, I'm gonna be your brother regardless, all the way through it. My only request is that you keep it a buck. We talk about that Killer Mike all the time. Like, nobody's asking to be perfect. We just asking to be honest. So that's why that second time I took it so personally, because I'm like, damn, bro, you ain't even have to like do that. You could have just kept it honest with me. So a lot of trust and anger was brought from that. So no, I wasn't noticing the drugs because he would tell me certain things that made sense. So if I saw him nodding off, because he got a new prescription for his MS. And that prescription, he getting used to it. And I know this, and I know he really does have MS. I know that's a real thing. So I don't have any reason to believe that the side effect that his medicine he told me that's going to have, if I see it, I'm assuming that's what it is. You know what I mean? I'm still giving him that benefit of the doubt. And now it wasn't until later I'm realizing, he was high. Or this time when he asked me to do this, he was high when he asked me that. Or all that stuff came out after April. When I started putting the pieces together.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, going back to before that, it was just one of those just feelings. Like me and school usually on the same wavelength, and I just knew. Like, I'm like, man, I'm too serious about this. Is when I was really like, I got to put the foot to the gas, and started getting more shows. And I'm just like, man, I'm not about to let you affect what I got going on. Like, if you got to sit down for a second, me and Ray P gonna take this over, and we'll figure out the ins and outs of it. Go, you got your own podcast. Focus on that. Do your thing there. Because if you want to do things a certain way that's not up to the standard of what we need to do here, the stuff that you tell me you're going to do, like, let me at least have the opportunity to do it. Like, how much I care about this, all of that.
Did that mean, Rich, like just missing time or just not performing up to the expectations that you had? Like, what did that mean as far as just something felt off?
Just the way he would perform while we were recording, the quality of work. Like, I remember there was a time, and because it all came from a place of love. It wasn't like, bro, you tripping. I literally came over schools, and I had clipped up examples. I didn't know what it was, so I clipped up examples, Spike, good stuff that you've done incredibly well, and stuff that you could work on, just to kind of like teach him, coach him on some of that. It wasn't like, yo, you tripping, sit down. It was like, no, here's what I've noticed. Like, listen to this clip, bro. You sound amazing right here. Like, your points, the way you getting after it, like, you on it. Like, that's one of them days he was probably, whatever. And then there's other moments when it's not there. And so I'm not a person that tells you, like, oh, you messing up, get better. Like, nah, this is what I noticed. And I'm always asking, what do you think? Because this is just my opinion. Because one thing I noticed personally, and it was a good lesson for me, just because you don't like something, it got to a point where I just didn't like listening to school. And I think that's because me and him are real close. And I just knew something was off. I just couldn't put my finger on it. And he got the MS diagnosis and just got a lot of stuff going on. And I was just like, man, I don't even like listening to even, because it doesn't feel like yourself. That's when that whole conversation came, like, all right, man, we got to sit down. And then you started doing your own thing. There were some episodes of SGP that was incredible. There were some SGP things that we did well. And I'm like, all right, then, well, maybe the lane is different. Maybe not doing as much because I know your eyesight is different when it comes to your diagnosis. So I'm thinking that's it. And then randomly, Spike Lee randomly one day, like me and School had just got on the phone talking about me producing an episode of his podcast for him the next day or that evening. To a couple hours later, I'm getting a text saying, I'm tired of living a lie. I need to go to rehab. I've been using. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just talked to you. Like, and it was just real cold turkey. And that's, like I said, that anger built. I want to kind of get into the phase where we are now, School, as we close things up. And talk about what was it this second time, because I told you it's a night and day difference. Even when I hugged you, even when I saw you, we talk about that weight that you had lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like that weight was back on. Like you just
Yeah.
looked better aesthetically.
Yeah.
You looked better. What was it that
Yeah.
made you say, "All right, I can do this"? Like, and I'm kicking all of this. I'm gonna be 4 months, and it's not a lie. I'm really 4 months sober.
Yeah.
And you and I have had a session where I sat in and I talked to I don't know her technical name or her position.
She's a clinician.
Yes, me and you. So I can understand better about some of the things because I talked about how I'm looking at it, man. School, you choosing to do that, and then I'm really getting into addiction, and I'm like, man, this doesn't look the same for me. Like that looks different for him, and I have to understand that. I have to understand this has a stronger hold on him than just what the average person or anybody with addiction. So I need to give grace there, and as long as he's doing the work, then I'm with that. Yeah. What was it about this time that made you say, I'm doing the work and I'm never using this stuff again?
I lost everything, man. There was a point where I felt, I lost my best friend, meaning you. I lost my wife. She let me, she kicked me out. And I was staying at mom's, and I begged my wife to let me see my daughter. She finally let her, come through. And when she came to pick her up, bro, I realized, like, is this what you want? Like, you want to be a weekend dad, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday pops? Like, you've been a part of this girl's life since she was born, never missed a day. Like, and I mean, soon as they pulled off, bro, I lost it. I cried my eyes out. I bawled. And, I went to sleep that night, still getting high. I went to work. I had a big meeting. I get to this meeting. They gave us the option to turn on our cameras or cut our cameras off. God is good because he told me to turn mine on. And I turned on my camera and I fell asleep during that motherfucking meeting, nodding off like a motherfucker. And the crazy thing, I was super high. I didn't even realize it, because one of the bad things is, like, you can do that shit and you be nodding, but you still present. So, like, I'm nodding, I'm gone, but I can still hear and all that shit. So
the dolphin, what Bo was
my reaction just late. Or I'll wake up and I'm like, well, shit, it's 20 people on here. Ain't nobody peep me. And I went to work. Or later on, I got the big boss came in, like, out of nowhere. I'm like, damn, what he doing here? And he said, hey man, what's going on with you? You tired or something? And I said, no, what do you mean? He said, well, you were asleep during the meeting. I think we're gonna have to drug test you and see what's going on. And I said to him, no need, sir. I'm good. I'm out of here. I quit. And I lost my job. And then Rich called me 5 seconds later, and I had to fake it. I'm talking to him like everything good. What's up, boy? My guy. All that crazy bullshit. And deep inside, I'm crying. I'm hurt. I hang up the phone with him, and I called my wife and I said, I'm ready. Like, I need to go to rehab. I have to go to rehab. Like, I can't do this no more. Like, this shit ain't for me. Like, my life is spiraling out of control. And I thank God that it went that way, and not, I'm in recovery program with a lot of people that's in drug court and Sammy court, been caught with all types of shit. I thank God that I never ever had to deal with anything like that. So that was it for me, man. I said, this ain't for me, man. It's not. And here we are 4 months later, man. Everything is different, man. I know who I am. I know I wasn't perfect. I definitely hold myself accountable in everything that I've done. I'm working the steps. There's 12 steps. I'm I'm on step 3. Well, I start step 3 next week. Step 4 is inventory. That's one of the hardest steps, man. It's pretty much writing down, all the bad shit you've done, and I've done a lot of it, and clearing that shit out. I've been through a lot, but I feel like I've done even more. You know what I'm saying? But
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What has it been like? You touched on it a little bit earlier when you talk about your wife. What has it been like rebuilding these relationships? Because you and I had to have a real talk. Like you texted me. I chuckle because I know you so well, and you texted me about something without us having a conversation about this. It was something podcast related, and I was just like,
"This nigga crazy."
Nah, it's cool. Wow, like school wild right now for texting my phone, and like Kendrick said, man, we got some shit to address. Like, so how dare you hit my phone on this, and we ain't even address the things we need to, because it goes a little deeper. We don't have to go into detail, but it goes deeper. Where if school was just honest, if Isaiah was just honest with me about something, it could have saved me some money and some time. I took a financial L, nothing crazy. And that's something we've already worked out, and it's all good. It's all good. But it was one of those things where I was like, damn, I wasn't even salty. I was just more so upset you couldn't keep it honest with me and tell me, because you told me. I've laid this, and I want Isaiah tell you the reason I get upset about certain things, because I lay things out very specifically. I'm one of them. Hey, if you cannot do this, please tell me.
Let me know.
I'm not tripping. Like, I'm not tripping at all. He'll tell you, I'm not tripping, bruh. But if you tell me you're going to do this, then this is what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
And we had that conversation 2 or 3 times. And you know what? The best thing, Ray P actually helped me through that. Because I remember saying that she just very casually and just very was like, you was doing right by someone. You was doing, like, that's you never have to worry about that. That's gonna come back. Like, you're perfectly fine. And that one small nugget, like, just helped me out. I'm like, cool. And then my focus was able to shift to, all right, let me try to understand what school's going through from his point of view, to all right, then let's just have this conversation. And we had one conversation. That was really all we needed. Just to kind of, so I could tell you what I was thinking and what I was going through and why I was hurt. And you were able to explain it, and I knew things had changed because of the way that conversation went. You were very open and you were very honest, and we were able to just talk it out. And by the end of that, we were good. And I remember a homegirl told me, you should sit in with him on like a session or something. She's in that field. And I had another homegirl tell me the same thing. And I'm like, all right, then. So that's when, I don't know if I reached out to you or you reached out to me with it.
I reached out to you.
And I'm like, bet, because I think I told you, I said that's funny, because I was going to reach out to see. And we had that talk as well. And that was just the icing on the cake. But really, it was seeing each other. And like I said, getting that hug and really seeing it from my own 2 eyes. Like, all right, then, this man is different. I say that's a very long-winded way of asking. Outside of me, what's it been like rebuilding relationships with moms, with your wife, with, I don't even know if your daughter is, if there's even anything that needs to be done, you know what I mean, or even your stepdaughter, like, or we call it daughter, stepdaughter for the people out there. I know you, she's like you, you treat her like a daughter.
Absolutely.
Have you seen or noticed anything like that, or has that been very difficult for you?
So with
Anissa as well.
When it comes to Anissa and moms, we always 100. We've spoken our piece. I've, if anything, we've grown closer. Me and the wife, we working our things out. We've definitely in a better place than we've been in a while. Still need some work, obviously. I've done a lot of shit. You know what I mean? We've been together 11 years coming up. Married for 9. So she's seen the best of me. She's seen the worst of me, and I thank God that she's still here. You know, I got some work to do with my stepdaughter as well. You know, and that comes from my trauma. You know, as having a stepdad. You know, you know, as Rich know, like step pops was wild, man. Like, I don't want to spend I don't want to spend too much time dogging him because he did teach me a lot, you know, especially that work ethic, man. You know, he was a working fool. He still is, honestly. Um, but you know, I have some trauma related to him, and I definitely told myself, you know, I would never be that type of step parent, and you know, and honestly, as I look at it, like I feel like I'm a carbon copy of that nigga. Like when it comes to step parenting, like it is it's not what it should be, you know. So that's definitely on my next session of counseling sessions. Will be with the stepdaughter, you know, just to find out what's up, you know. You know, I want to build that relationship, you know. Yeah, that's one of those ones. Like I definitely want to build that. You know, when I was gone for that month and I came home, bro, Emery wouldn't leave my side, you know. So I know she still has that innocence and she don't really, you know, she thought I was sick and in the hospital, which technically is true. You know, I was sick. I was in the hospital, getting better. So, you know, again, I think I'm grateful for my wife, you know, even through her anger with me, you know, she didn't do anything to hurt me and Emery's relationship. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's rare. You know, that's rare. So again, I thank God for her, man. I really do. I thank God for all y'all, man, because I love y'all, man. Y'all are great, and I don't deserve y'all. You know.
I wouldn't say all that. I think you do.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I was talking to moms about this when you were still in the facility, and just having a conversation about you, and just really wanting you to come out of this on the other side.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her, I said, I think Isaiah's been playing this character for so long that he has no idea who he is anymore. Like, he's lost track of that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that's what it started to feel like. It started to feel for the first time in, it would have been 35 years because you're 2 years younger than me. So for the first time in 35 years, I was starting to feel like I don't even know you. I don't even know you, bro. And this is somebody who, as me and school always say, like, if we ever fall out for real, like, one of us got to go because we know too much.
Know too much.
One of us, we can't never fall out, like, ever.
Yeah.
So it was one of those, and it was a weird feeling for me, and I was just, you know, putting the pieces together because that was a process for me. And I was just like, damn, like it's. I think that's a big part of it. Would you say that's true? Like, you were putting on a front for everybody.
You said it best, bro. I was going to say that, bro. You know, as I said earlier, I've been getting high since I was 16 years old. Like, I don't know who I am. I'm trying to find out who I am. You know, I spent my 35th birthday in a rehab facility, bro. Like, that's insane to me. Like, I had to call people to get a happy birthday. Like, and one of those people wasn't my brother because I knew that it wasn't the time. Like, I can't call this nigga. Like, especially after not calling, period. Now I'm gonna call on my birthday. Like, what type of sucker shit is that?
and you forgot my birthday.
And I forgot yours. Yep. On some hot shit.
Like, this nigga's fight.
You know what's crazy?
We talked about it.
Your birthday, Rich?
I got January 26th. We both on the 26th. Me and you on the 26th. Because I know you November.
Yep.
You want to hear some crazy shit, Rich?
Yeah, I was gonna give Spike a little context real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Just it was my birthday, and school usually one of the first people hit me up. It's the middle of the day, and I'm not even thinking about it because I'm not at the point. I care about my birthday, but it's not. I don't take it as serious as some people.
We men, come on.
Yeah, some people like it's a real beef if you forget or mess up my birthday. But it wasn't the fact that he forgot; it's that he texted me at like 3 in the afternoon about some other shit, some random shit. I'm like,
didn't even mention
and
it.
like, and I'm responding to that, and then after a while, I'm like, hey, bro, like, what's up? Like, but go ahead, School.
Sad part about that is, I was having a bad day because I didn't have no dope, and I didn't hit you up until I got some. And I remember I was on break from work, and I hit you up about the Benny the Butcher album. I was like, yo, I don't know about this Benny the Butcher album or something. And this nigga wrote me back and was like, for real? Was like, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I had just got what I needed, so I'm coming back. Like my brain start kicking back in, and I'm like, oh shit, like, yeah, man.
And I sent it with a bunch of laughing emojis because it was funny.
Yeah.
But it was also like that's kind of fucked up. But it was funny because I was like,
I
literally texted him. I remember what it was. I said, this nigga text me because another side note. It was at that point where I was like, I told School, I'm literally not listening. Same thing I told you on Deck Spike. I'm not listening to Benny until he cut his braids. Like, this is getting out of hand. So I already had this little personal thing with Benny. I'm like, man, Benny kind of falling off. And I texted School after he texted me about the album. I said, this nigga texted me about Benny the Butcher before telling me of all rappers. I could see if it was Hove or somebody. You texted me about Benny the Butcher before you said happy birthday. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I know you were offended by that.
I was definitely offended. I was 100% offended. I laughed it off, but I was offended. Like, oh, okay. Like,
So before we close, I really like to know, because a lot of the stuff, powerful story, first and foremost. I want to say that. I said, I appreciate you being open enough to come to this platform and looking at this platform as one that's worthy enough to hear your story.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate you sharing that with us, because I don't know who's listening to this that could use it. Like, there's stuff in there that I could relate to, like from my earlier years and when I was wilding. And just thankfully I had people around me where I didn't have to go to rehab, anything like that. But it was people around me like, hey, bro, you need to check yourself out. Like you doing too much. So I can relate to a lot of your story. I want to know, before we wrap, on this journey that you're on, they say success is not a destination, it's a journey. As you continue on this journey, what does success look like in this battle for you?
So to me, success looks like a recovery podcast. One of the reasons why I definitely want to come on here is because I hate that stigma that there is around drug addicts and drug addiction. I go to class every day with some people with stories that you wouldn't believe, man. Drugs are so powerful. I mean, I'm talking about people who've had it all, touch millions of dollars. And now they have nothing at all. So, again, I want a recovery podcast. I think that, in our culture, there's a bad stigma about it. We don't tend to take too many things serious. You know what I mean? Like, we had that talk earlier, Rich, like niggas gonna laugh, man. Niggas is gonna laugh.
The most serious things.
Yeah. So, I kind of
that's
want
part of what makes us great.
Yeah.
And we can make humor out of, like, our culture and the way we do that amongst each other is what makes us elite. I feel like, like we're gonna laugh, we're gonna make the shit, we gonna make it funny.
Yeah. To a certain degree. I'm with you. But again, if you've been where I've been and seen some of the shit I've seen or heard some of the stories, and I feel like you and many others would feel the same. Now, another thing I want to do is I want to become a peer counselor. You got to have about 2 years of sobriety for that. I want to reach out to any and everybody that needs it, because one thing I've learned in this journey is I and many others don't really relate to people who read in that book about addiction. But when it's someone in that room that is a former addict, it's like going to church, man. They deliver the message, they
Testimony.
hitting you with the real, um, you know, and I want to be that person for somebody, even if it's just one person. Like if one person listen to this podcast and go, "Damn, I've been there," like I need to get my shit together. I want to go to a. It's so much funding out here, man. They'll take care of you for free, whatever county you live in. They will make sure you get right. I don't know if people know this. About 5 years ago, maybe 10, substance abuse is a disability now. And that is so that people can get help, not for your ass to try to get a check, but to get some help, go get you some rehab, man. All that type shit, man. Like it's really possible. I feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it. Cause I was gone, man. I was lost. And one of the things that made me really not want to give up my addiction was, again, like I said earlier, I never got in trouble with the law. I mean, I have stories of being pulled over with shit on me. Like I'm talking about a quarter of fentanyl in my fucking sock type deal. But I've never been to jail for no drug shit, none of that. So I've been truly blessed. So that was one of the reasons why I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm all right. Shit, all that bullshit. So I've been too blessed to go backwards, man. I just can't do it. I'm good.
I love to hear that. I
Yeah.
love to hear it.
Absolutely. One last thing before we wrap this up and get out of
Yeah.
here. It ties in perfectly to the accountability piece. Obviously, for those, if you want to know more about addiction, what would be the best thing to learn or best place to learn about addiction and what someone's going through on addiction? Is there a certain website, certain any kind of information they should be reading?
So I would say, so we have of course there's NA, AA, CR, Celebrate Recovery, and they all of those programs offer, I believe it's called Adenom. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but it's pretty much for siblings and family members and friends of the addict, so you can know what they're going through. Like it's like
I got
a
you.
group, so you can know what they're going through. Also, Google is your friend, man. We live in 2024. Google that shit. You're gonna find you will find everything you need.
I got you.
Yeah, for sure. You will
That's
find
so.
everything you need. And especially like if you listen to this and some shit sound familiar and you like, damn, is my dude on some trash? Hold on. Look it up. Look up the look up the signs, damn it. You might be shocked.
So I thought that was important, and also the most important thing, like I said, as we talk about accountability, what is it that you're doing each day? Because I know that each day you have to choose that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to not use, and I'm going to take my steps and do the right things.
For sure. For sure.
When I asked you about this before, you said it was easy because it's nowhere you want to be. You don't even want to be
Yeah.
back in that life. You have no desire to use drugs. But what
Not
are
at
you
all.
doing on a daily to make sure that you're on that straight and narrow? And have you ever thought about that day when you really like all my triggers are being tested today? How am I going to end this day by being true to myself and the things I said I was going to do when it comes to not using substances?
Okay, so I'll answer the first part. So what I do is I wake up a little early. I read a devotional. I have a sober app that has devotionals and things of that nature. Give you some like words of the day. I read that. I read the verse of the day from the Bible app, and then I tend to usually have to go to my group from 9 to 11:30. I do that. After I do that, every other day I'm in somebody's face as far as a meeting. So I go to NA on Monday. Tuesday, I do my step study, which is basically breaking down the steps, working on the steps. Wednesday, I'm in an NA meeting. Thursday, I'm chilling, obviously. Friday, I'm back at CR. Saturday, I usually kick it. Sunday, I'm back at somebody's meeting. I usually go to 2 meetings on Sunday. So that's how I get down, man.
Do you,
And go ahead.
do you have a sponsor, like an accountability
Absolutely.
partner?
Absolutely. So when it comes to a sponsor, usually as a sponsor is usually someone who has at least a year clean, but I tend to want to get to the greats. So I usually try to go for someone with at least 2 to 3 years clean. Just because they've usually worked the steps a couple times and they have a little bit more knowledge. The more time they have, the better. So yes, I have a sponsor. An accountability partner can be anyone. So they don't have to be necessarily in NA. As long as they're willing to hold you accountable, then they can be an accountability partner. So yeah, I have all that. And like you said, Rich, everyone's testing me. Um, Shit just ain't going right. Triggers galore. Um, I'm calling my sponsor. I'm calling my accountability partners, and I'm gonna go to a meeting. Um, Last but not least, I'm definitely going to the meeting after the meeting. There's always a meeting after the meeting, which is probably Skyline or Gold Star or La Rosa's or something of that nature.
For those listening, these are all food places in Cincinnati.
Yeah, for sure.
Cincinnati
Skyline
local
Chili.
food places. Yeah, what you know
Yeah,
about
Skyline
that?
Chili. Yeah, I heard of that.
yeah,
What you
yeah.
Yeah.
know about
So
Skyline?
yeah, so we usually go, have a meeting after the meeting. So we'll do something like that. And also I'm part of the no matter what club, there is nothing that can make me use again. Like, yesterday I went through something that was, I think it's probably one of the toughest situations that I've been in since I've been home. Um, And one thing that I'm taught in recovery is to feel your feels. Because that's 9 times out of 10. That's why people use drugs. They're hiding. They don't want to feel their feels. They want to feel something else. So we're taught to feel our feels. And I cried. I cried my eyes out yesterday. I let it out, and then I said, "I'm giving this to God. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about this, you know, and that's what I did. And today I received some good news. God, man, God is working, man. He really is. He's been good to me, man. And I said this to Rich not that long ago. I feel like we still being covered by our grandmother's prayers, man. She was a praying woman, man.
Absolutely.
Praying
I
woman,
know what that's
you
like.
know. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, yeah,
Absolutely, man.
What I'll say before we sign off, then I'll throw it to you, Rich. People listening and wondering, like, well, where does this story fit in what we're doing? In my opinion, and Spike Lee sign off, anything that prevents you from showing up and being, I put a post up on IG about it. Anything that prevents you from showing up and being the best that you can for the people around you and yourself,
yeah.
that's what we're addressing with this chapter.
Hmm.
That's what this is about. So it ain't even just about drug addiction. Scoob's story was amazing, but for somebody listening to this, maybe rolling their eyes like, "Oh, I don't have that problem," you still might have a problem in showing up for the people that need you.
Hmm.
And what is that thing for you? And I feel like what's going to be really important in this book is a lot of the things that you went through when you talked about school, understanding that you can't do the shit by yourself,
Yeah.
understanding at a certain point in time, like, yeah, I can lie about this shit and make people think that I'm this person, but it's
Mhm.
not ever going to hit unless I'm really this person.
Yeah.
So, brother, that's a really powerful story, and I really hope that the people that are listening to this got where you're coming from, even if they don't struggle with drugs.
Yeah.
Like Rich said in the beginning, it ain't gotta be drugs, bro. It can be we forgot it can be work.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
like you can be addicted to that shit. Like I
Mhm.
work too much and I do this too much, and I'm not there for my family or the people that need me or want me to be a part of their life.
Yeah.
So taking inventory is mostly important. What I heard from what you said, and I know you're in the
Mhm.
process of doing that right now, Isaiah. But I challenge everybody that's listening to this, take some inventory, see where you
Yeah.
stand at. Even if
Mhm.
you ain't got a drug addiction or whatever it may be, take some inventory in your life right now and just really evaluate where you stand and how you're impacting people and what that means to them and what it could mean to you.
Yeah.
Great story, my brother.
Listen, I appreciate you, and I have to say this. I love what you just said. Can't do it by yourself. Can't. Is there's no way. There's no way.
That's
And you
Isaiah, that's
have
one of the biggest
to.
things I'm dealing with, bro.
Yep.
Like I'm an only child. I grew up by myself, mom working 2 jobs. I always feel like, nigga, I don't need you. But as I get older, I understand, like, sometimes you just need people. You just got to talk.
Yep.
You just need to let the shit out. And yeah, that's really dope, bro.
Yep. You got you in honesty. You can't do it alone in honesty.
Facts.
And I always think about, if I do this shit alone or do it by myself, that means I'm about to do my will. I'm about to do what I want, and the way I do things. And the way I do things are wrong because I've been doing that shit for this long, and look where it's gotten me. You know, they say in recovery, play the tape through. Play the tape through. Yeah, okay, I go get high. Now what? I'm homeless. My wife leaving me. I won't see my daughter until, I get clean again in the weekend. Like all that shit. Play that through. Press play on that tape and see what happens. You really want to make that move? I know I don't. What's up, Rich?
I think what you just said was powerful. I think what Spike said was perfect in regard to wrapping it up. What I'll say from tying it into book 2, it's not just about accountability, but it's also about how we look at things and how we address things. Even if you're not going through an addiction or substance abuse, we probably know somebody who does. We probably have that uncle or that cousin that maybe all these years we've never stopped to kind of realize, like, what's their story, like what's going on, what's happening, and maybe we're a little bit open and more receptive to things like that. And just a better understanding of what happens and what this looks like. I say that personally because I mentioned the anger that I had, and I'm glad I just took some time to take a breath, pray on it, take a step back, and really try to look at it from that other side and admit that there are things that I don't know, but I'm open to it. And as long as Isaiah is willing to do the work, then I'm going to be with him. And now that I can see this and personally say he's putting it all into it, like I'm here with them 100% of the time. I pray for him every single day. And I specifically pray that I'm a person that'll be good for you, that you're surrounded by people who are supposed to be around you in this journey, and that I'm going to be that good person for you as well, because it is going to be a collaborative effort. And I know it is a daily thing that you have to choose every single day. We're talking about right now the habits that we're choosing every single day for 21 days to build these habits for that time and beyond. And I know that you have to do that. You can't skip a day.
Nah.
Right? You can't skip a day. You have to be accountable to yourself, your family, the people you love.
Yeah.
And that self-accountability, that honesty, I think that goes a long way. One of the taglines that we're going to use for this chapter is it's where authenticity meets meaningful conversation. And I think that's exactly what this was. And Isaiah, like, as somebody who has been your best friend for 35 years, I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it is to kind of reintroduce or be reintroduced to you and learn this new, better, improved version of yourself. And I've just seen you from a distance handle things differently and have certain approaches about certain things. And I'm just proud of you. You don't know how much courage it takes to come out here and express this. I even told you, I said, man, you worried about people saying this or the comments, and you let it roll off your back. Like, not at all, man. This is my story. I'm not gonna let anybody use my truth against me.
No, sir.
And as I mentioned earlier, the quote from Sterling K. Brown's character in American Fiction, people want to love you. You should let them love all of you. That's something I felt too, because I love you deeply. And one of the things that hurt me was I wasn't able to be there for that dark time because you didn't feel it was a safe space to be there or for me to get in. And now that you've shown me all of you, you've let me love all of you, it's taken our relationship to a whole new level. And I know it's slowly but surely, but I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm incredibly proud of your journey. One day at a time. I know you got this. I'm here for you whenever you need anything. You know that.
Yes, sir.
Somebody doesn't answer, sponsor doesn't answer, lead doesn't answer, whatever the case is, man. You already know I'm gonna answer for you day or night. I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. I think that's all we got to say, right?
I
That's
love
all
you
You
too,
got any
brother.
last word? Yeah, School. I'm sorry. You got any last words?
Yeah,
Close it
I
out?
just want to say I love you, brother. You know what it is, man. I don't want to get too sappy, but man, you got a piece of my heart forever, man. You know that.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying. I thank you both for this opportunity to come on here and share my story. I didn't dread this one bit. You know, I'm ready. I was sick of hiding behind that mask. You know, it gets hard to be that person. You know, I just want to, you know, no pun, let my hair down. You know, so I love you both and appreciate you so much for this platform. And I'm looking forward to the future, man. I hope to. I know soon I'll have my own type of recovery thing going, and I'm hoping it changes lives, man. That's all. That's all. I want to change some lives.
No doubt.
You will, my brother. You definitely will.
Thank you.
100%. We're going to leave it at that. Bookworms, we appreciate y'all. Isaiah, we appreciate you coming on and bearing your soul
Yes,
on this
sir.
microphone for us. Everybody out there, if you are holding on to the accountability challenge, the 21-day, please keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Be true to yourself. Be honest. We'll check back in a week from today. Until then, y'all be cool how y'all be cool.